My 43F husband, 45M, has started saying slat, and it's becoming taxing on our family. My husband and I have been married for 20 years. We have 2 children together, a 17-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son. He's always been a goofy guy, often picking up on new slang and using it to embarrass our kids. It's usually just light-hearted fun, but recently it's gotten out of hand. This first started a month ago when our daughter came to me and said my husband called her a SLT. I was of course taken aback by this and went to talk to him immediately. He told me it was a misunderstanding and that he said slat, meaning like friend or associate. We all got that cleared up and I thought it'd be the end of that. But it wasn't. He continues to say it all the time. Even a month later, he is annoying all of us to the point where it's a problem. He says it constantly. Can you pass me the salt? Slat. I heard ya. Slat. Slat slat slat. Sometimes when he comes home he'll say, what's popping? Slats. But he'll pronounce it like schlat, and spit everywhere as he does it. All the time. When I tried to bring it up to him he said, I'm sorry, slat. That made me angry and we got into an argument, in which he used the word 10 times. We've never, as long as the kids have been alive, argued like this. It's stressing him out, it's stressing me out. I don't know what to do. Any conversation I try to have with him about it ends in an argument. It's hurting our family. We can't take it anymore. What do I do now? Spray bottle full of water and spray him when he says it. Does he need to be the center of attention? My boyfriend does this kind of crap to me a lot, especially if he feels like he's being ignored or neglected. He knows it pushes my buttons and he'll get a reaction. Ignore him and stop responding. Then he'll stop. This is going to sound crazy, but I think I played a video game with your husband online. About 6 months ago I was in a Destiny raid with a guy who would not stop saying, young schlat. Like non-stop, over and over again, cracking up to himself every time. If your husband uses a PC to game, this could have been him. Or it's a crazy coincidence. Or the phrase, schlat, is the equivalent of a verbal virus, infecting people across the globe and embedding itself into their psyche. Would explain the rise of YouTuber J Schlatt as well. Lol. This is probably terrible advice you should take, but what would be the dose of his own medicine? If you all called him whatever irked him the same, he may drop it. Boomer. Kyle. Chad. Call him slat all the damn time. Your husband is a fucking doofus, but this made me laugh, thanks. I have no idea how to resolve this problem without outright telling him what a doofus he is. Typical behavior at that age. Toddlers of 3-5 years of age will repeat naughty words non-stop. You can only ignore them and it will eventually go away. His amusement is more important to him than anything else. If he doesn't agree to your feelings, then your feelings don't matter to him. Let him know that it's really hard to respect someone who acts this way, and then drop it. Ignore him as much as possible. Go on with your life and he can discover what it's like to be a man who isn't respected by the people in his life. Let him know if he can't physically stop himself from saying it with some or these great suggestions here. You will be taking him to a doctor for a physical. Mind starts to go funny at times when something physical is wrong. UTI, thyroid issues, metabolic issues, the works. Call him limpy, and if he asks what it means, look to his crotch. If he gets upset, then tell him that that is exactly what you and your kids feel when he calls you slat. Your husband literally sounds like he is 45 biologically, but mentally he is still 12. Kind of sounds like he just needs to be ignored. Also, maybe it'll end soon. Well, as soon as he learns a new slang word. You know, kinda like the new flavor of the month. You have 2 choices. Ignore him until he stops. Find a word that he would hate and use that with him to show him how stupid it sounds. If he is using this slat snake, TikTok, meme, slat stands for slime, love, all the time. And slime is slang for friend, brother, mate, homie, son and other similar items. Then maybe he is having a midlife crisis and trying to fit it with the kids as he is feeling old. I truly hope this is not real. But if it is, I don't even know, all of you should stop responding to him entirely. Like, stop talking to him, stop interacting. And this is such a stupid jackass thing to do, that it can't possibly be isolated. His arseholeness has to have emerged in other ways before this. I would just give him a terrible look whenever he says it and walk away. Don't give him the reaction he wants. Then after a few days of that, ask him if he still wants to be married. Hopefully that will scare him enough. Buy an air horn and blast it whenever he says it. Oh man, I feel your pain. My husband is an attention seeker also. He does things like yawn, drink, sneeze, sigh loudly, all because he knows it'll get a reaction from me. It embarrassingly took me a while to figure this out, but when I did, I started pretending he wasn't there. Or simply just leaving the room. He then figured out what I was doing and why, would get annoyed and then had to admit that he was doing it for attention. He's much better now. I told him he wants attention to just ask, then it can be a positive thing, instead of just trying to piss me off. But even now he sometimes does it and I keep just ignoring. Good luck, 4-leaf clover. Your husband is a master troll. I tip my imaginary fedora to him. If he can't have a conversation without escalating it to attention seeking, write him a letter. Explain that his adamance is hurting your relationship. That you're not joking. That he has to stop. Offer couples counseling, because there's obviously more to this. Be happy he's saying slat and not slat. I worry that this could be a symptom of a bigger issue. My ex-husband began to do little irritating things like this towards the end of our marriage that I clearly did not like. And looking back, I can see that his behavior was a passive-aggressive way to push my buttons and express a deeper anger and resentment that had built up over our marriage. The fact that he continues to use that word, even more aggressively when you've clearly shown how angry it makes you, really seems to show just that outright disregard for your feelings. I think you should maybe look deeper into the relationship. He could be using his humor to mask anger he is feeling about his life in some way, shape or form. Possible medical consult time. If this is a clear change of behavior and he isn't being responsive to your requests for change, there could be something wrong. Maybe it's a neuro problem. Brain tumor. Are you married to Michael Scott? This a joke, right? Husband. Stop trying to make slat happen. It's not going to happen. My sister started doing this in her late 30s. She's attention seeking and is someone who put a lot of stock in being young, beautiful, and cool. Now she's trying to be cool nonetheless, but it's backfiring and she comes across like a try-hard. Not everyone knows that age gracefully. Not saying this is him, but if he's got any of those personality traits, it's possible he might be feeling his age and overcorrecting. Fight fire with fire. If he's going to be this annoying on purpose, you and your daughters might as well try having some fun by making up a word to constantly call him. Don't tell him what it means. Change it every day. Use it as often as possible. See how he likes it. It sounds to me like he's either enjoying the attention or getting off on annoying you, so the other option is to just completely ignore it. If you notice that he reacts by saying it even more, then you know you've gotten under his skin and it's working. Say it back. Drive him nutty with it. Fake it till you make it. Or if nothing else, he'll tire of it and find some new slang to flick at you guys. Sounds like he's bored maybe, and he's at least enjoying it himself. There's far worse things he could say that would clearly make him an ass, but I don't see a problem other than he's just overdoing it, but it's the reaction that's keeping it alive. Play along, or ignore it, and either way it'll stop. Are you married to Phil Dunphy? OMG, this sounds the worst. I feel for you. You defo need to have a serious word. Let him know he's embarrassing himself and your children. Midlife crisis a bit. Shake a can of pennies at him when he does it. He's clearly an imbecile and is enjoying the attention it's giving him. Ignore him when he refers to you as slat. My teen son started referring to me as my G, because mommy is too embarrassing. I just ignored his remarks until he at least called me mom lol. What's popping? Slats. Thanks for the laugh. I've never heard of this word. Being the uncool mom, I asked my teens. They were clueless as well. Laughing my ass off. You are married to this guy. Talk to one of his mates on a proper level and get him to have a word. TF, is this a troll post? Is your husband listening to Gunna and Young Thug at 45? This is the only plus he'd pick up such lingo lol. Just start calling him dickless. If he protests, just say it's your way of saying duckless. You could look at him and say, "Are you 12?" in a stern voice. If he wants to act like a rebellious toddler that learned his first bad word, then treat him like one. Stop speaking to him and ignore him when he uses the word. When he asks what's wrong, tell him that this word starts his time out. Maybe start with 5 minutes and see where it's going. Your husband sounds like a cat that's pushing stuff to the ground to rile you up and get attention. Face with rolling eyes. Edit. You can also set an ultimatum. Either he stops immediately and completely, or he has to agree to couples counseling, or both. It's a problem that he's apparently so self-centered that he totally disregards your and your children's wishes. Tell him for every day you hear him using that term he gets no. Well, you know. 45. He's 45. Did you mean 4.5? And that he's not your husband, a grown middle-aged man, but your son? Jesus H. Christ. Just get the kids and yourself packed and leave him for a mini break. Smile with horns, but tell him you are leaving him because he keeps saying that word. Trust me, it will hit him hard that all of you left because of it. I know it's extreme, but he will get your point. And make sure you and kids go NC at the same time. Winking face. Congratulations, it's a boy. You now have 3 adolescents in your household. Sounds like your husband has learned the only way to get attention in the is to act like a child. Or maybe he knows this is one way to get your attention. The question: is he pushing you away or trying to get closer? 2 things. First, when accused of overreacting, try, "I am not overreacting, I am just right reacting." You want to see what overreacting is? Then go nuclear. Second, try, is the use of this word worth alienating and losing the respect of your wife and children? Do we mean that little to you? Then obviously if he does not change, you have your answer to that question. Every time he says it, you just end the conversation. You just look away and ignore him. Lady, it's a word. You married a guy who likes to play the fool and upset people. You didn't have to, but you did anyway. You're taking this way too seriously. You're a full-grown woman, FFS. The minute he understands the effect of the word has run its course, he's going to drop it. So the minute you stop treating it as some war crime, he's going to stop using it. The problem isn't your problem, it's your reaction to it. Slat isn't a word.